Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, changes are being made for the Sebring U.S. Sport Aviation Expo next year. A Japanese Zero fighter flies in the skies over Japan. Diamond Aircraft to build the Dornier Seastar airframe. I'm Bree Cross. It's February 3rd, 2016, and this is Airborne Unlimited. The Sebring Aviation Expo faced some tough challenges this year with the weather, and it seems like there might be a little bit of turbulence remaining. In a press release, the Sport Aviation Expo said they will begin plans for 2017 with a new director, as Jana Filip has moved on to new opportunities and to increase family time. Sebring Regional Airport Executive Director Mike Willingham said, quote, "SRA appreciates Jana's dedication to the event for the past 5 years." The press release stated that the Expo expects to remain the mainstay of sport and light sport aviation manufacturers, catering to the recreational flying markets. The Sebring Regional Airport is researching weather data to choose a more optimum time frame for 2017. Willingham added that the U.S. Sport Aviation Expo is and will continue to be an important part of building an industry with aircraft sales that far outpaces the rest of general aviation. The 2017 Expo will be the 13th year Sebring Regional Airport has hosted this event. New date information for 2017 will be announced in the coming months. Seeing a World War II fighter flying in the skies above Japan is a highly unusual event. But for the first time since World War II, a restored Mitsubishi A6M Zero, owned by a Japanese citizen, has done exactly that. Warbird News reports that the airplane is owned by a Japanese businessman. It was restored from the remains of a wreck that was found on Babo Island in Indonesia in 1991. The restoration was completed in Russia and then moved to Mojave, California for the final fitting of the engine. About the only thing original to the airplane is the landing gear, according to the report, and the engine is a Pratt Whitney R1830 engine instead of the original Japanese engine. The airplane has been in Japan since September 2014, and on January 27th it took to the skies over Japan, flown by Reno Air Racing pilot Skip Holm. After the break, Dornier Seastar flying boat airframe to be built in Canada.
Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. If you would like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. The idea of a large Dornier flying boat taking to the sky seems like a story from the past. But that's not the case, as the Dornier Seawings Company has selected Diamond Aircraft in Canada to produce their Seastar's flying boat's all-composite airframe. The Seastar is an advanced amphibious airframe featuring a purpose-built design, modern technology, all-composite, corrosion-free airframe, modern glass cockpit, retractable tricycle landing gear, and twin centerline-mounted Pratt Whitney Canada PT6 turboprop engines. The Dornier Seastar will have a maximum takeoff weight of over 10,000 pounds and the capacity to carry 2 members and up to 12 passengers. Diamond Aircraft says that while this is significantly different from the aircraft they currently produce, they have the technology and experience for producing large composite structures. The initial contract is for the manufacture of the first 10 ship sets, with the option for subsequent units. It's expected the delivery of the first airframe to Germany for final assembly will take place in the second quarter of this year. With some 2000 AeroTV programs webcast to cyberspace, sometimes it can be fun to look back and enjoy some of the places we've seen, the flyers we've met, and the planes we've flown. Here's a look at one of our favorite AeroTV classic episodes.
Well, Jim, you know that there is an increasing awareness of loss of control in flight accidents and the upsets that lead to those.
Loss of control prevention is enhanced when pilots receive upset training. The IPS company specializes in providing this sort of training at all levels of aviation, including airline pilots. This video shows you how they do it. Search Upset Prevention and Recovery on AeroTV's news channel. After these messages, Southwest Airlines flight instructors get a contract.
Sandia introduces the new SAE 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. Southwest Airlines has announced a tentative agreement with the Transport Workers Union representing the company's flight instructors. The agreement comes just 4 weeks after the group's current contract became amendable. If approved, the new contract would be amendable at the end of 2019. FedEx has become the first commercial carrier to land at the former Space Shuttle landing facility at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The company said the landing last month signifies a new collaboration between the freight hauler and the space industry. GE Aviation said last week that they are cutting 307 engineering jobs, with notices going out the end of January. GE said that with the shift from R&D to production, the company cannot maintain its current level of 4,300 engineers in the U.S. The NTSB said in a probable cause report released last week that a prototype UAV operated by Google went down last May because of a structural failure. The Titan Solara 50 solar-powered unmanned experimental aircraft crashed shortly after takeoff. Joint Base Lewis-McChord in Washington State recently announced plans to hold an air show at the base in August for the first time since 2012. Now, a base spokesman told a newspaper that planning is currently stopped for the 2016 JBLM Air Show. Well, that's the trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. The FAA has recently updated its medical guide to change the term gender identity disorder to gender dysphoria on its form evaluating the fitness of transgender pilots, and some procedural changes for medical certification have also been made. It's reported that prior to this change, each case was managed at the FAA headquarters. A mental health evaluation was part of that management, and medical certificate issuance was determined on an individual basis. The updated guide indicates that transgender pilots who have been on hormone therapy for 5 years or more, or who underwent gender reassignment surgery 5 or more years ago, do not have to submit a mental health status report. Supporters of the change say it is a first step, but does not go far enough. Jessica Taylor, a transgender pilot who began her flying career 7 years ago, said the FAA should simply remove gender dysphoria from the Aviation Medical Examiner Guide. Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive real-time 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily Monday through Friday with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us and a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news from the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource.